Mobile phones have become an extension of social media. Businesses are using mobile social media to become successful. How are they doing it? Let's talk to Tom Vasos, a professor and author of the book Destination Innovation.
Companies should really take a close look at how they can use mobile social media to achieve business objectives. And that really combines social media sites that you may be familiar with, like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and things like that, with mobile devices, because now over half of all transactions are starting to occur from mobile devices. So mobile combined with social media can be a very powerful market force for companies. So in my book, Destination Innovation, what I talk about really is that there should be this four-step process you should think about in terms of deciding what path to take, because there's 1,000 different approaches you can take. The first step I suggest is looking closely at business and customer pain point triggers. So what are the objectives of the company and what are their pain points they're trying to address? What are their customers' needs and pain points to determine whether or not that there's certain technologies or strategies that could address those pain points. Step number 2 is taking the opposite approach. It's taking a technology-centric approach and looking at specific social media sites like Facebook and saying, okay, how can we apply this to our business? Or looking at technologies on mobile devices like GPS or Wi-Fi or things like that. How can we take that technology to solve a real business need? So by combining those two approaches, you start to formulate which ones make most sense for your organization. The third step is determining what type of innovation you really want to launch. Do you want to focus on product and services innovation? Or might there be an opportunity to create a whole new business model innovation, as some companies have done? And that can be a really powerful force for change. And then finally, the fourth step is now getting into the mobile social media marketing tactics that can really transform your relationships with customers. And people really need to get rid of what I call mobile social media myopia, which is just focusing on how we're going to use this thing to sell stuff. There's just so much more you can do that can be very powerful. So consider that it's not just about selling, but it's potentially 4 main steps, everything from branding and pre-sales to moving people through the sales cycle to the point where they say, wow, I think I want to buy that thing, to the third area, which is doing commerce transactions, so actually selling goods via social media and mobile devices. And finally, the fourth step, which is post-sales customer support. And many companies have to really take a close look at that, because depending on what your product and services is, you might have to focus entirely or want to focus entirely on one of those areas, because maybe your product doesn't lend itself to mobile commerce or social media commerce, in which case you focus on branding and pre-sales or post-sales support, for example. So companies should really take a close look at what those options are to determine what path to take. Let me just give you some examples. So the first one of success at mobile commerce, Dell, for example, has claimed that they've sold millions of dollars of computers as a result of their tweets on Twitter that are posting discounts for products for sale, and people kind of go to that site, and then that gets reposted on coupon sites, and it's generated a lot of interest, and they've sold millions of dollars. But now let's look at some of the other phases if we get rid of mobile social media myopia, because there's so many more examples. In the branding and pre-sales area, think of IKEA, where they had a contest on Facebook that said, hey, you know what? We want you to tag your name to these pieces of furniture, and the first person that tags it, we're going to give that away for free. So guess what? They had thousands of people tagging their name. All of their friends saw that they tagged it. They gave away a room full of furniture, but they literally reached tens of thousands of people with that IKEA living room for people to see. Mattel had all kinds of PR around posting on Facebook whether Barbie and Ken should get together, back together again after years apart, and getting buzz around it and press visibility and getting people engaged in why they should get together or not get together. This is engaging the community. This isn't about selling something, it's engaging people. Okay? Let's look at post-sale support. So you look at companies like Best Buy, where they have something on Twitter called 12 Force, where you can ask a question and get an expert at Best Buy to answer that question and help direct you down the path of buying a particular product. So they're moving people through the sales cycle. So as you can see with some of these examples, there's many different ways you can approach this. The key is taking a look at what the possibilities are, what the pain points and technologies are, how that meets what your business objectives are based on the kind of product or service you're trying to sell. And once you can marry those two things together, you can then really start to formulate a pretty solid plan. So in this mobile social media area, there isn't one single silver bullet that is going to do it. In fact, in the book Destination Innovation, I talk about 40 different strategies you can take. And once again, the 3 that you pick will depend on the kind of product or service. So for example, there could be things like video marketing and posting videos on YouTube to help sell your products, as different companies like Blendtec have done to get 100 million people watching their videos, and sales are up 500%. So they've used video marketing. There's community engagement and looking at when people are doing price comparisons and product comparisons and reviews, so there's some of that. There's building a mobile app, maybe that makes sense in some situations. There's outbound email strategies and text messaging strategies to proactively reach out to customers. So there's so many tactics that you could potentially look at, but the key is logically looking at it in terms of which of those are most likely to meet the business objectives that you're trying to meet. And so really that's what this mobile social media strategy is all about. It's a matter of putting the right package together for your organization to meet your business objectives of selling more, providing better customer service, moving people through the sales cycle, things like that. And that's what this whole area of mobile social media marketing is all about.